The Jimmy Olsen Radio Network.
Welcome to Bible Story Time, 2 Kings 5, 1-27. Naaman, the commander of the Syrian army, was highly respected and esteemed by the king of Syria because through Naaman the Lord had given victory to the Syrian forces. He was a great soldier, but he suffered from a dreaded skin disease. In one of their raids against Israel, the Syrians had carried off a little Israelite girl who had become a servant of Naaman's wife. One day, she said to her mistress, "I wish that my master could go to the prophet who lives in Samaria. He would cure him from this disease." When Naaman heard of this, he went to the king and told him what the girl had said. The king said, "Go to the king of Israel and take this letter to him." So Naaman set out, taking 30,000 pieces of silver, 6,000 pieces of gold, and 10 changes of fine clothes. The letter that he took read, "This letter will introduce my officer Naaman. I want you to cure him of his disease." When the king of Israel read the letter, he tore his clothes in dismay and exclaimed, "How can the king of Syria expect me to cure this man? Does he think that I am God with the power of life and death? It's plain that he is trying to start a quarrel with me." When the prophet Elisha heard what had happened, he sent word to the king. "Why are you so upset? Send the man to me, and I'll show him that there is a prophet in Israel." So Naaman went with his horses and chariot and stopped at the entrance of Elisha's house. Elisha sent a servant out to him to go and wash himself 7 times in the Jordan River, and he would be completely cured of his disease. But Naaman left in a rage, saying, "I thought that he would at least come out to me, pray to the Lord his God, wave his hand over the diseased spot, and cure me. Besides, aren't the rivers Abana and Pharpar back in Damascus, but then any river in Israel? Better than any river in Israel? I could have washed in them and been cured." His servants went up to him and said, "Sir, if the prophet had told you to do something difficult, you would have done it. Now why can't you just wash yourself as he said and be cured?" So Naaman went down to the Jordan, dipped himself in 7 times, as Elisha had instructed, and he was completely cured. His flesh became firm and healthy like that of a child. He returned to Elisha with his men and said, "Now I know that there is no God but the God of Israel. Please, sir, accept a gift from me." Elisha answered, "By the living Lord whom I serve, I swear that I will not accept a gift." Naaman insisted that he accept it, but he would not. So Naaman said, "If you won't accept my gift, then let me have 2 mule loads of earth to take home with me, because from now on I will not offer sacrifices or burnt offerings to any god except the Lord. So I hope that the Lord will forgive me when I accompany my king to the temple of Rimmon, the god of Syria, and worship him. Surely the Lord will forgive me." "Go in peace," Elisha said, and Naaman left. He had gone only a short distance when Elisha's servant Gehazi said to himself, "My master has let Naaman get away without paying for a thing. He should have accepted what the Syrian offered him. By the living Lord, I will run after him and get something from him." So he set off after Naaman. When Naaman saw a man running after him, he got down from his chariot to meet him and asked, "Is something wrong?" "No," Gehazi answered, "but my master sent me to tell you that just now 2 members of the group of prophets in the hill of country of Ephraim arrived, and he would like you to give them 3,000 pieces of silver and 2 change of fine clothes." "Please, take 6,000 pieces of silver," Naaman replied. He insisted on it, tied up the silver in 2 bags, and gave them and 2 chains of fine clothes to 2 of his servants, and sent them on ahead of Gehazi. When they reached the hill where Elisha lived, Gehazi took the 2 bags and carried them into the house. Then he sent Naaman's servants back. He went back in the house, and Elisha asked him, "Where have you been?" Oh, nowhere, sir," he answered. But Elisha said, "Wasn't I there in spirit when the man got out of his chariot to meet you? There is no time to accept money and clothes, olives, groves, and vineyards, sheep and cattle or servants. And now Naaman's disease will come upon you and your descendants will have it forever." When Gehazi left, he had the disease. His skin was as white as snow. If you enjoyed this story, share it on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, whatever platform. And you can find me on social media as well, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, My Buddy Jimmy, and YouTube My Buddy Jimmy 101.
Spinal adjustments provided by Dr. Chad Rolfson. The Spinal Tuning Chiropractic Center is a Des Moines area low flat fee per month unlimited chiropractic care practice. When life happens, just adjust. Schedule today at spinaltuning.com.
Barbecue provided by Kenny's Rib Wagon, catering ribs for your pleasure and serving daily at Plaza Pub, 62nd and Douglas in Des Moines, across from Merle Hay Mall. Find Kenny's Rib Wagon on Facebook.
The Jimmy Olsen Radio Network.